Hey there, how you doing? This is Jason Medlock with Expansion of Consciousness, and wow, we're at season 4 already, 85 episodes in, and I was wondering when I was going to be able to kick the show off because I was working on a project for almost 2 years, but it took me a long time to get it done. I had to go through several different avenues, and I'm speaking of my new book, Empowered by Consciousness. I started this journey in 2022, and anybody who knows me, they know that when I start something, I'm definitely going to complete it. So we finally got the book out there, and October is a great month. And the reason why October is a great month for me is because the October the 10th was our launch date, and man, did we do well. We are currently number 1 new release hypnosis category, number 16 in energy healing category. And we had a spectacular first few days of the launch. The book was a number 1 bestseller, Amazon, and also a few days later, it was a national bestseller. We were right under the 35,000 percentile on Amazon, which Amazon gives you a badge, and you're known as a national bestseller. So, and all you people out there that's gone through this walk and gone through this journey, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But Empowered by Consciousness, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book, if I would say so myself. But it's a spiritual beacon, spiritual light, and it's for the spiritually curious. When I thought about writing the book, I said that, hey, listen, I've learned a number of different modalities to help people, from galactic energy healing to quantum healing hypnosis to remote viewing, understanding the subconscious mind, just trying to help people use different meditation techniques and just package them all into one unique book. I spent a lot of money on buying a lot of different books, and I spent a lot of money on a lot of coaches, but I put it all in one book. So if you're curious, if you think that you may have some sort of special gift, or you've been having dreams, or things that just happening for you when you pray or when you meditate, and you want to know why, Empowered by Consciousness is for you. The book is on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and a lot of the national retailers out there. But the reason why we're here is my guest tonight is Gena Bradshaw, and she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. Jena's an entrepreneur, an author, and a speaker, and just has a powerful story. She's a health and wellness expert. She's an author of A Survivor's Story, which is a holistic journey through cancer. Jena's the founder of Holistic Human Performance. She's a host of Holistic Human Performance podcast and a 2-time cancer survivor. Jena's journey led her through healing and fear of cancer recurrence. She's been sharing her story and her experiences with others in hopes to inspire them to enhance their well-being. She's combined experience in health and fitness and wellness industry for over a decade, coaching others who struggle with their health and want to change their lifestyles with a more holistic approach, including those who have been touched by cancer. It combines with her knowledge of how to optimize your health through nutrition, exercise, holistic healing, energy healing, sound healing, and meditation practices. And I can speak to the meditation portion of it because meditation is very, very huge when you are trying to calm the body, and when you're trying to lower blood pressure levels, lower stress, anxiety. Meditation can be a big deal. But Jena's guiding you. Jena's guiding you through the many paths of wellness. Her hope is that her story inspires you to act and declare ownership of your healing and health journey, because it's your birthright. So we're going to go ahead and bring Gena on, and I am very, very excited that She's here with us today. So let's go ahead and bring Gena. How you doing?
Hi, thank you.
And I want to make sure I'm saying that right. I
Jenna with
don't
a
want
G, you got it.
Gena, because we're not gonna mispronounce, but I'm so excited to have you on the show. You and I were introduced by a mutual colleague, and when I went to your website and I read about some of the wonderful things you're doing, but your story, that's really really excited me. Knowing that you've been through a whole lot with dealing with cancer. You've been able to learn different modalities and use different tools to help other people. It just really 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 interested me, and I said, you know what, I really really would like to have her on. I know that you have a BS in exercise science. You're certified functional strength coach, functional movement screen, precision nutrition. You're also a Reiki practitioner, which I know a few Reiki practitioners out there. You're an integrative energy therapy practitioner, sound healing therapy, natural medicine, and homeopathy practitioner, and you're an author and a writer. It's sort of like me. How do you find time to do all this stuff? But let's just start with this first. Just tell us about your journey, because I know it's pretty incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it's a long story, but I will try my best to condense this. So I was 3.5 years old. I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. That was a near death experience. So, I mean, this was years in the hospital, going through several different rounds of chemotherapy, radiation, blood transfusions. I mean, something that, in your worst nightmare, you would think a child should, go through. And thankfully, I made it out of the woods. And my parents always had a holistic viewpoint on health. So I grew up in a family where food is very important for fuel, and not just in terms of like, oh, eat your fruits and vegetables. It's like, okay, like are your foods sprayed with herbicides, pesticides, and are you, do you have clean water and things like that?
Right.
Which do make a huge difference, by the way. And so throughout this, I was put into sports, which 100% helped with my motor skill development. Because again, by the time I was able to go back to school, I was probably like 6.5. And the teachers literally told my mom, like, hey, she might need to be left behind. Like, she can't even read, which is ironic because I'm an author today. So um so went through, sports, and once I was out of the woods, I was good. However, I'm sure we'll get into this. The body always keeps the score. And like, I, you don't know what you don't know. I wasn't exposed to these different healing modalities, right? Acupuncture or energy healing, Reiki, that just wasn't something that I was exposed to. And so down the road, I went to school, ran Ithaca College, ran track and field, studied exercise science. My family, my parents have had a family fitness business, Bradshaw Personal Fitness, for over 35 years. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to, jump on that bandwagon. I'm going to join the family business, which I ended up doing. However, when I was a junior in college, so I was 20 years old, I went to the health center and she found a nodule on the right, the left side of my thyroid.
Mm.
No clue what that even meant. They don't teach you that in school. Like, I don't even know what that, at that point in time, I'm like, the thyroid gland, like, what even is that? And so from there started a whole nother journey where it kind of made me question, like, yes, I exercise, I train and work out hard. I'm an athlete. And at that point, it kind of was like, oh, there's more to this. Like, why did I get cancer a second time? I'm a healthy person. I don't get it. And so from there, I started to really take a deep dive into Eastern medicine, energy medicine, acupuncture, writing for different magazines and just to express myself in a way that I just wasn't. And if you think about it now, like the thyroid, right? That's connected to your throat chakra, speaking your truth, talking about your story. I did not talk about, you know, having cancer as a child. Like none of my friends in college knew that. That wasn't something that I was open about. In fact, it made me very uncomfortable. It was kind of one of those things where I was in warrior mode and you're just like, "Oh yeah, that happens, like whatever, no big deal." Pushing on through. But I didn't work on the your body keeps a score, and I didn't work on that trauma that my body remembered from a child. And then to boot, going through a surgery, at 20 years old and also not working on that trauma, but it put me onto the next chapter where I'm studying, and I'm just like immersing myself in learning and educating about Eastern medicine. And we are literally not taught this in school. Like we are not taught this unless you
No, we're not.
somehow grow up in a family where that you're exposed to that. And so from there, I decided, I just really took it upon myself to be the healthiest version of myself, became a Reiki practitioner, integrative energy therapy, and it just opened up a whole new world for me about learning in terms of what I can do personally, for myself. And in turn, learning that I've been able to, like you were saying in the beginning, gather all these tools so I can help other people.
Yeah.
Because again, health is your birthright. And if you don't have that, what do you have? And so those are the questions that I like to ask people. And then it makes them ponder, like, oh, what do I really have? And just taking a deep dive into that topic of what health actually is and what it actually means. And it brought me to this point of writing a book, which was published in 2021, and just sharing this information with other people and also connecting it to science. These ancient healing modalities, science is now catching up, and it's really cool to see how we can combine this modern technology with ancient healing modalities that were done over 5,000 years ago. And so, yeah.
So we're gonna get to the book a little later, and the book will be able to really shed light for the journey that you've gone on with the modalities, and it'll help so many people out there that are listening. But you mentioned something interesting about cancer and the thyroid, and as a quantum healing hypnotist, we're taught two things about cancer. The first thing we're taught is it's centered around some type of hate, some sort of hate towards you, hate towards someone, hate of a situation. But the second thing we're taught, and you hit on that, that the thyroid is all about not having a voice, not speaking the truth, speaking your truth. If I speak, no one will listen to me or would care about what I'm saying. And those are some of the things that we, as quantum healing hypnotists, received from the late, great Dolores Cannon on in how she would interview people and get those messages. But you mentioned Reiki energy healing. You also mentioned that you started to learn these different modalities. When you started to learn, Reiki energy healing, what was that like? And how did you actually use that particular modality to help yourself?
Yeah, so it started with myself. I started going to see a practitioner myself because, I got to this point, I'm like, I need to do more to help myself.
Mhm.
Energy plays a role, and much like what you said about learning about cancer, that is kind of where that took me, where I started to make this connection, because everything is connected, that all of these diseases have energetic meanings behind them and give us
Yes.
clues
Yes.
into the medicine. What is the medicine? And so that led me to the medicine. And once I started to experience it myself, I was like, "Why didn't I know about this sooner? Like, why?"
They don't want us to know.
Exactly, like, how did I not know about this? And listen, like, I went for acupuncture and things of that nature, but still, I didn't, I didn't come across that, and so I'm like, "This is we got something here." And that is when I decided I needed to become a practitioner myself because number one, I am intuitive. I do lean more into medical mediumship. And I started to, like, when people were coming to me, like, things would just pop into my head. And I'm like, I don't even know how I know this, but I'm just going to say this anyways. Does this, resonate with you? And I started to connect all of these things. And then from there, just learning about other modalities like sound healing and vibroacoustics, which ironically enough, I wrote about vibroacoustic healing in my book in 2021 and didn't even really make the connection until I really started practicing and becoming a practitioner myself. I'm like, frequency is everything, energy is everything. We're down smaller than that cellular level. There's energy that makes up those cells and that we're not taught.
So I
And
had
so
a pretty interesting experience with vibro acoustic healing on one of the vibro acoustic beds. There's a practitioner. I'm in Houston, Texas, and I went and I, just tried the bed out. And she put the headsets on me and adjusted the frequency on the bed, and I was flying.
yep,
I mean, I was literally in another place, just gone. But it was very, very soothing to the body. And when I finished the session, I felt, really, really strong. I felt stronger. I had like a small little cough, and that was absolutely gone. So when you said that, that just made me remember, when I had the sound therapy, in that fashion. So yeah, you're right. It is wonderful.
it is amazing. And the tune bed is it's phenomenal because again, it's these things that our ancestors have been doing since the beginning of time. It's just, something that now science is catching up to, and they're utilizing it as pain management. And, so vibroacoustic sound healing, that literally changes your cellular DNA. It literally changes your mitochondria, it changes the energy of your cells. And so it relaxes, but also it energizes, which is super fascinating. And so the more I started to play around with, I specifically use crystal sound bowls,
Yes.
and other different modalities, like the tuning forks, because I'm very much hands-on when I'm doing any type of energy healing. Um, unless it's virtual, obviously. But I utilize those where it's like I'm very, I'll hit a certain point. Like let's just say I get to someone's lower back and I'm hitting their kidneys, and all of a sudden it's just like fear. It just like comes up, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna work to get this and move this through the body. And all as I'm practicing and as I'm working with other people, just everything started to click and make sense. I'm like, holy crap. I didn't even realize that we're missing. We this is the missing link, and if people, I believe personally, if people started to incorporate, right? We get it. You go to the gym, amazing. We got to move our bodies. We have to fuel our bodies with healthy foods. But what about the energy? Like, what's your energy like? If your energy is off and it is just sluggish and not flowing, chances are you're going to get sick. Whether that,
So
mhm, go
So
ahead.
why is it important for the audience, that's listening? Why is it important that people understand energy therapy, sound therapy? Why is it important for people to understand these techniques that are not mainstream, but they are alternative forms of healing?
Yeah, because it brings you back to wholeness. And what happens when you're whole? You're healthy. If you are someone who is sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's time to change. It's time to figure out what you need to maybe omit, what you need to change, and really it comes down to the environment you're living in. What is your environment like? What's making you sick? And if you're someone who's suffering from chronic disease, dis-ease, right? That's energy related. Anything chronic is energy related. And so it's important because at the end of the day, I went through my journey, right? There's a why I went through it. I came out on the other side for a reason because now I can sit here and talk to you and teach other people and help them, right? But maybe if we can incorporate and do these things, maybe you won't get cancer. Maybe you can prevent yourself from developing some chronic disease that, you're totally having anxiety over because it runs in your family line, in your DNA. It's all about your environment and how you think, how you move, in turn changes your physical body. And so maybe if we start to incorporate these things, you can prevent disease and also create generational health for, let's just say, your kids or whoever you're in contact. You're just spreading that health and wealth because, again, everything is energy.
I was thinking when you talked about our bodies get out of whack, and we need to bring them back whole. And I was just thinking about a term that I use with my clients when I'm doing coaching, mindset coaching. And I explain to them, your brain is a hard drive, and it's constantly running this old, worn out software that you developed by your environment. The things that you've learned, you're just running off this same software. And that when we do mindset training, and when I start to use hypnosis to reprogram the mind, we're adding new software. And it's just like the body. Your body gets out of whack because of the environment, because of the toxic food that you put in it. And your body is out of whack and it's out of sorts. And you need energy therapy practitioners like you to move the body back into a certain level of vibration, a certain level of frequency. That's why it's so important with the chakras being realigned while you're using Reiki and things like that. So I just wanted to add to what you were saying, and that I do similar, techniques when I'm dealing with the mind.
Yeah. There's there's so many different techniques. When we spoke on the phone, you were telling me some of the things you do, and I'm like, I didn't even know that was a modality. Like it was incredible. But again, this is why we need people like us to share our information with people, have podcasts like this,
Yes.
really put yourself out there. And I will say for myself, at a point in time, I didn't want to do it and I wasn't ready for it. And, you know, that's the other reason where the energy healing comes into play. It's a matter of balancing and harmonizing your energy body so that you feel confident and you're in your power center to share your story and to share with others and to give back because your cup is now full. And if you're giving from an empty cup, I mean, it's like a car on empty. Gas is on empty. What's going to happen? The car is eventually going to stop and then it's going to break down and there's wear and tear.
Yes.
Our bodies are the same. And, we have one body in this lifetime. And I don't know about you, but I want to give it my all. Like, I want to be the healthiest version of myself and say that I tried my best.
So I want to go back to something that you said that comes natural to you, and you said that I'm very intuitive, almost like a medical medium, and it really struck a chord with me because one of the next modalities that I'll move into, I'm already an associate remote viewer in a scientific remote viewer, but they have something out there called medical remote viewing. And medical remote viewing, obviously, is the scientific way to get to the same understanding or the answer about the client's illness that comes natural to you, with the medium medical mediumship that you do. So, and I always tell people and different practitioners that I have on the show that all of these modalities are intertwined. And there's no one right way to do one thing. Oh, no, this does this or this does that. They all are intertwined and are used in a way that you can get the same answer. But my question to you is how how did you use the background that you have in natural medicine and homeopathy work that you do? How did you use that um, in relation to the cancer you were dealing with?
Yeah. So pretty much now this is funny. So when I was, we'll revert back to when I was 3.5. Now, at when I was going through chemotherapy, my mom, she would give me vitamins and supplements to help me, even though the doctors were like, she can't have that. She can't have that. She did it anyways. And so
Mhm.
I kind of grew up in a family where herbs and plants were seen as medicine and medicinal. And so I kind of just took that. Number one, it's in my DNA, like it's just ingrained in me at this point. But I would, for example, let's just say I was feeling like run down or anything like that. I felt like, okay, like I need to like boost my immune system. I'm turning to for example, right now we're in the season of autumn and everyone's allergies are acting up. Okay, first thing that pops to mind, nettle leaf and mullein leaf. What are, those are helping with respiratory, decreasing inflammation and mucus in the sinus cavities and also in the lungs. And also really beneficial for health because it helps you to boost your immune system. So looking at it from that perspective instead of immediately being like I need to go on antibiotics and I need to go take, you know, listen, if it gets to that point and you absolutely need to, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I think we need to take a step back and instead of, I see this a lot too, and I'm sure you see this as well. As soon as, especially now, anyone gets this, like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This immediate, like, monster of anxiety just comes out and this talk about the hard drive immediately. What's the first thing? Oh, I need to go to the doctor. I need to go on antibiotics. I need this, and I need to take Claritin and all these things. Maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe your throat chakra is blocked. Maybe your heart chakra is blocked. Maybe your third eye, right? If someone suffers from headaches or migraines, what's going on with your energy centers? And I'm not, it's just another, there are many paths to wellness. This is
Mhm.
another layer that people, and this is what I teach people, it's to take your power back, listen to your body. Does this feel good for me? And if so, I'm going to pursue that. And that is kind of how I guide people and coach them. And so if I have someone who's, well, I've been, getting headaches or migraines. Okay, have you looked into feverfew? Have you looked into this herb, like Don Quay or something like that, to help enhance and boost your body's natural mechanism, pretty much.
So I'd like to now, let's talk about the book, A
Yeah.
Survivor Story. And, we know that it's all about your journey and your healing that took place. And you write about this. And it set the stage for holistic human performance, which is your business. We understand that it's about educating uh, people with their wellness and all about helping people understand the whole body. Talk about the when you first decided you were going to write this book, and just walk us through that whole process and tell the audience about the book and why you wrote it and how can it help them.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2020, I went in for a routine annual oncology checkup. I noticed the nurse's face, and in my head, immediately, I had like this meltdown. Like I was hysterically crying, hyperventilating in the doctor's office. And these are nurses, so they're not really, they can't really tell you what's going on. And so I had to wait about 4 weeks to receive results regarding they found a nodule on the right. So fun fact, you can function on 1/3 of your thyroid.
Mhm.
I still have the remaining right side of my thyroid. They found a nodule, a small nodule on that right side. And then a spot on a left lymph node, which ended up being scar tissue. So as I was hysterically crying in my car that day after like hyperventilating uncontrollably, I had this sense of peace wash over me and this like knowing that all was going to be okay. And this, I believe, is the moment where divine intervention took place and it changed the trajectory of what I was doing.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, I had a download. You need to write a book.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I love it when people talk about downloads because it's true. It
Yeah,
happened. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you hit me again in the heart with something.
that's okay. No, this is good. This conversation is amazing. And I had such a great time speaking with you prior. But anyways, um, so I had this download and I'm like, okay, like how am I going to do this? Like I don't even I was always a good writer, but never did I think that I was going to be an author. I didn't really have that vision, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But again, now that I look back, I was like asleep. I wasn't awake. I was asleep. And so I okay, this is how it went down.
Mhm.
I applied for a speaking event. It's called Digital Cancer Con. And so you explain your story and you talk about um, what you went through, whatever the topic was. Now, mine was geared more towards holism. And to be honest with you, they don't really like to hear that. So I created this whole presentation, they denied, and as I'm going through this, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is it. This is the outline to my book." And I took those, slides from the presentation and I broke them down into chapters, and then from there, I went into automatic writing.
Mhm.
I Some of the things that I wrote in my book, I don't even remember writing other books that led me to research that I needed to find. I just had these like synchronicities where it just popped up or a book would fly off the shelf and I just I just trusted. I just went with it. I didn't force anything, I didn't deny anything. I just went with it. And from there, I you don't know what you don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to like write a book and publish it, whatever. And then I came across the publishing agency that I had worked with and I didn't go through traditional publishing or looking for a literary agent. I didn't even know you had to do that at the time, actually. And it ended up seamlessly kind of working out, anyways. And from there, it was a very quick process. It was maybe 4 weeks once I was done, obviously, with the manuscript and the editing. Very quick. And just all of a sudden, it was like out there. And then I had to work on being seen and actually talking about the book, which was a lot of healing, quantum healing for sure.
Did you use Maria?
I used Balboa Press.
Okay.
Yep, for my first book. Second book, I am going towards kind of the self-publishing route, which I'm excited. And yeah, that's pretty much how it went down. And after that, after writing the first book, I just never looked back. There was this sense of like, there's more. And I just kept following that and listening to my intuition, basically.
Yes. Yes. Writing a book is so awesome. It also helps you get a lot out there about situations and about different things that you were able to do and the way you walk through your life and how you handled it. So books are just so inspirational. Is there any? Do you have a website, or how can people get a hold to you?
Yeah, they can go to holistichumanperformance.co. You'll find everything on there: books, programs, healings. I have a virtual wellness center to help educate and integrate. Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay. Oh, I'm trying to put it on the screen and make sure I get that right.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Holistic. Nope.
Holistic human performance.
There we go. .co. Okay. And I just want to put that out there. Holistic human. Hey, that's wrong. Hey, give it to them one more time. We're not going to worry about them. I'm trying to type it while we're on the show. Give it to the audience one more time how to get in contact with you and what you offer on the site.
Yeah. So again, you can find me at holistichumanperformance.co. You can also find me on Instagram at Gena Bradshaw, GenaBshaw. Hit me up. I answer. I'm pretty quick with that. Yeah, all the information that I have is on there. I have different, programs like a cancer survivor support group. I have my book up there. Yeah. And again, teaching people those things, especially those who are going through such a health adversity where like you're basically facing death at that point, and learning about other healing modalities, and also teaching them, hey, did you ever hear of an integrative oncologist? Or hey, did you ever hear of a master herbalist? Hey, are you getting acupuncture? Things like that.
Wow. I'm going to wrap it up, but is there anything you want to leave with the audience? Any last words of encouragement? Maybe someone's out there going through similar, and we know that a lot of people deal with cancer. Is there anything that you can leave with us?
Yes, I would say that it is your absolute birthright to own your health and to feel good, take your power back, be your own patient advocate, and live a purposeful life, one that you could dream of. And take that action, take that initiative. At the end of the day, nobody is going to do it for you except you. So own it.
Wow, that is beautiful. So, Jenna, it's great to have you on the show, and I hope that I can get you back at some point. I want to know what you're working on. I want to always enlighten the audience because it's hard to really find genuine people who are open to share their story and have done the work. And I can just tell from your background and reading about all the wonderful things that you've done. You've actually done the work and experienced these modalities on yourself, and that's the biggest thing. And when you're trying to find ways to heal yourself and you end up learning the modalities, I just love it. And I just thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I got to have you on my show. And yeah, we have so much in common and so much to talk about. We could go on and on and on.
Tell the audience about your show before I move you in the back. Tell them about the name of your show.
Yep. So my podcast is Holistic Human Performance Podcast. You can also find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also on my website.
Awesome. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna move you to the back office. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I want to talk to you for one more second.
Perfect.
Wow, Gena Bradshaw. What a wonderful guest. A beautiful spiritual being that has gone through the trials of life. And what are we all here for? We're here to learn and source experiences, the physical, while incarnated in the avatars. And it's a learning experience. Going through bouts of cancer, being fired from your job, being involved in a messy divorce. These are all experiences that we go through while we're in these bodies, living these lives, the lives that we're living. And we have to learn from them. We have to figure out ways to bring ourselves whole. Jenna talked about having a whole body. using different modalities, holistic modalities, Reiki, sound healing. The energy that's in our bodies has to be tuned. And sometimes it gets out of sorts. Just coming in contact with all of the foods out there, all of the chemicals, all the different things that are accurate in this world that we live in, we must take care of our bodies. And I'm gonna encourage you guys to go and pick up Gena's book, A Survivor's Story. And it's all about her cancer journey. And for those out there who have dealt with this or currently could be dealing with it right now, it's always a good thing to pick up a book of someone who's actually gone through it, and it came back again and had the fortitude to learn different techniques, learn different ways to heal herself. And so I encourage you a survivor story, and check out Gena at Holistic Human Performance as well. And we're excited. Season 4, we're here. We're going to be on. You guys get ready for your channels. For your social media feeds to be inundated with information from an expansion of consciousness. And I'm so glad that you guys are still there with us. And we will see you the next time. Thank you so much, and good night.